What is your professional background?
I'm sorry.
I'll ask again. I'll ask again. What is your professional background? So,
Really sorry. Okay, I can do it now. I'll be
Okay.
fine.
and what is your professional background?
Sorry.
Before we start, please like, subscribe and click the bell button to know when I post. I make a variety of time lapses, makeup tutorials and product reviews. So if that's what you enjoy, this is the channel for you. Hello, today we're meeting Jinny. She is a co-creator of Paradise Makeup IQ. She's an instructor and also a judge in most recognized events in the industry. Hello.
Hello.
It's really nice to see you today. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I really like your project. I live in Montreal. I'm Canadian. And well, actually, I don't live in Montreal, but because it's a worldwide, it's better I say Montreal, but not too far from there. And I was born and raised in Canada. And I studied art, and I've been in the industry for many, many years.
I see, okay. So you live now close to Montreal, okay.
Yes.
Do you live on your own or with a family?
Okay, so because I'm not so young anymore, I did have a family. I have two boys, and now they own their own house. And now I live with my boyfriend, and he has a boy also, a 13-year-old. That's 1 week every, alternate 1 week, yes, and 1 week we don't have his boy. But
Oh,
it's,
no.
it's a good time.
Nice, okay. When did you started face painting? Are you doing body painting at all?
When I started, actually, the first time ever I painted a face, and I was there to the rescue because somebody who organized events had someone cancel at the last minute. And at this time, I was young and I was studying art. I had all the brushes, but I did not have the colors, the makeup for face painting. So I said, okay, don't panic. I come to the rescue. I will go and do the job. So it was like in a grocery store or something like this. And I went there with my little kit, and they gave me a few little cakes. So I started painting, just pretending I was a pro, but it was the first time I was doing it. And the first face I painted, the mother asked me if I was teaching, and I said yes. So I pretend it is a lie, but it's it's not a very bad lie. So I said, yeah, I teach, because I've been doing art for so many years. I had the confidence to say yes, I teach, because I was already to the level that was okay. So then I even pretended, she asked me for a business card, so I gave them all. I didn't have any business card because it's my first time painting. So I pretend I did the act of it, like looking for the card. Oh, I said, sorry, I gave them all. And so I wrote my name on a paper napkin, and so I write my name, and then she contacted me for classes, and I started, after my first face painting, I started teaching a lot to mothers, and then it grew to, because I had my own style, and then I started teaching more to other artists and more professional, and after that, yeah.
Interesting story. So, who inspired you in your career? Were there people that
Okay,
you
so
really liked?
first of all, the person who really made a big difference for my international career would be Marcela Murad. She had Silly Farm in the days. She didn't create Fabaik yet, Face and Body Art International Convention. It did not exist at the time. We met in 98, I think. 1998 or 1999, a couple of years ago. And so I was in an event in the US for a clown convention or something like this, and she was there also teaching. Since I was teaching already in Quebec, in my area, I said to myself, I'll go and see, somebody teaching. There was a very beginner class. And actually, if one day Marcella tells the story, she'll tell her version. It's quite funny because I went to see her. I went to see the class, and I really enjoyed her way of teaching. And at the end, she said to me, "Did you learn anything?" And I said politely, because it was very, very beginner. So it just like whiskers and a nose and ears. So I said, well, I didn't really learn any techniques, but I said I learned a lot on how she speaks to the crowd and how everybody loved her. So I was giving her all compliments, but all she remembers is like that young girl that comes and say, "I didn't learn anything in your class." And so it's a funny story we have between us, because it's true that I said that, but I said it in a very polite way, and because I'm very transparent and very honest. So after that, I asked her if I could paint in the lobby, because people needed to have their face painted at this event. And she said, yeah, of course. So then she was in the hotel, and she saw a few faces painted walking around, and then she says her jaw dropped, and she was like, "What is this? I've never seen that style." And then it's funny. Well, hopefully one day you have Marcella in another interview.
I will.
Her own version. So, anyways, so when she saw my art, she really loved it, and then she said, "Okay, if you can't beat them, join them." So she contacted me, and then we started doing tours in the U.S. So she's the one who really introduced me to the industry, because in the U.S., when I started, face and body painting, it was not popular at all. It was mainly clowns that were doing face painting, and the face painting was very, very, very simple. Nothing compares to what we have now. So
Yes.
it was just like an evolution. And then after that, she didn't really understand how I could take more time to create extremely advanced faces, while she was saying, well, in the US, we can't do this because people need things to be done fast.
Quick.
And I said, well, you're the one who it's your own work. So if you choose to make more intricate, people will wait. They'll be happy to have that, So she, with time, understood. And, people got, more, then you hire more face and body painters to accommodate and have more people painted, but then you have good quality. So it's not all about speed and go fast and, do as many as you can. Because in my class, I always tell people, if you hire somebody to repair your dishwasher, you're not going to stand there and say, well, can you go a little faster? Because I only want to pay 1 hour. Well, that's his job, so he knows, and he'll do he's professional, so you have to let him do his thing,
Sometimes I still have requests. They're asking, can you come for 1 hour? And I have 25 kids. Okay, well.
Yeah, so then what I tell, it does happen. It did happen to me also. So if you have 25 kids and you want all your kids to be painted, you have to understand there will be no full face. So you might have. So that's what I suggest, because I know how many full face I can do in 1 hour. So that way, when you sell yourself, you can just right away say, well, you'll have just eyes, 1/4, and just move along. Yeah.
I
You can't have it all as a customer.
Generally, I don't paint less than 2 hours. I just say that. Sorry, I don't paint less than 2 hours because just for 1 hour, it's not worth going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Well,
me,
I go for 1 hour, but I always, my minimum hours is 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Or else I don't go. So I can be there for
Oh, yes,
1
of
hour.
course. Yes, yes.
If that's what they want, but they pay for 3,
Yes,
you know?
yes, yes. I see. So,
Yeah.
how is your normal day looking when you're painting? Are there any procedures that you do?
Okay, that's a good question. So my career and what I've been going through with face and body painting is not really, I can't really compare it to any other artist that I know. Mainly because my career was very different than somebody who has to go to work and paint, because I've been mainly teaching. So I've been working with the chemist to create Paradise for back in the early 2000. I worked for 9 months with the chemist, and then so that was one thing. Then I was also promoting Paradise and traveling everywhere to conference and teach the customers how to use and what they can create with that. And also because I was part of the jury, I was either hired to go there and judge or to go there and teach at different academy or makeup schools. So I did some work. I worked for a television television chain we have here in Montreal for an average of, I think, over 15 years, because I created the characters. It's for a TV show that had it was for kids, so I created the different characters. So then I had to train other artists to do the same. But if I was in the area and not traveling, I would be there working for television shows. And I was also hired by Cirque du Soleil for many shows on the road. And so, yeah, I didn't really do I'm working every weekend doing, kids party, which I did and I really loved. Even if I had an opportunity and if I was available, for me, everything is good. It's fun because when you love face painting, you don't really mind, I know some people will bring their kid everywhere there's kids and be happy to do it anyway. I never was like that. I don't do it in a natural way. Like some people do. They'll go to the beach and start painting everybody. That's not me. Because that's my work. If I'm going to the beach, I'm going to the beach.
Yes,
I'm generous, but not that much. Yeah.
Okay. What are the main topics and themes that you're known for? Are there any?
Actually, when I started painting, it's funny because I'll go back to the story in that hotel when I met Marcella. I was doing my kind of art that I was painting the faces and stuff, and then the next person was like, "Oh, I want what she had," and so I said, "Well, I'll make you, something similar but different." And then the next one wants the same. So, well, I'll make you different, but similar. So then it goes on and on, but they're all completely different. So everybody loved it. And then they wanted to be able to put a name to it and say, okay, so what is this? And I say, I don't know. And then at one point, people get frustrated because they don't know what's it called. So I decided to call it, because they absolutely wanted to have a name to it. So I said, well, it's just a beautiful nothing. So then the next one, I want a beautiful nothing, and I want a beautiful nothing. Everybody wants. So then I ended up teaching beautiful nothings for years. I was traveling, and they said, "Oh, I'm going to take the Jinny's class. It's beautiful nothing."
Oh, that's a nice name. I like it.
So that was something I've done because I paint a lot from my inspiration of the moment. So I like to match, the colors they're wearing, and I'll match their personality, because sometimes, they're very soft or very, so I get inspired by the moment. and then I'll just create some nice blending. Once you know the techniques, you know how to you understand the proportion, you know how to work with the features of the face, and then you match the colors, you can't really go wrong. So you'll just create the beautiful nothing, and then at the end you put glitters, and then they're really excited about it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any
So-
specific artworks during your face painting, body painting career that you are specifically proud of or most identify with?
There's one here in the back. That was a calendar. I can just get it. That's a calendar that was from one of the trip I did in Africa and in Malabo. So that was the Guinea like Guinea Equatorial Guinea, and that was a really interesting event because it was exactly down my alley. Like I like to do bold and colorful contrast. It has to be seen from a distance where you're really making a statement, you know? So that's the style I like more than pastel and so soft, because then to me, like I like it when it's really inspired by Mother Nature, where you have like extreme colors and very powerful designs. So to be painting the models that were living, the African people there with the very dark skin and a style that's, you know, we don't get to paint all the time. And the pictures were taking in the nature there. So everything was really inspiring for that. Also, I did an event near where I live, and it was for how do you call it? An art exposition, and they wanted to have like a live demonstration on stage, and it was like very challenging technically because I did a canvas, but then I had to do like a camouflage of the man in front of the painting. So I might you can find that picture somewhere in my social media, but it's very bold and it's very different, and it was challenging for me to do because technically I was not able to step back and see my canvas in the back to see if I was really aligned. So my challenge was, because it was projected, I had two major big screens, like I don't know how many feet big screens for the crowd to see in the back. But I was so close to my art, and I couldn't really, I was at the end of the stage, so I couldn't really back up. So to align myself with my canvas, I had to paint and look at the screen at the same time. So sometimes you think you go left, like it's really, technically, it was one of the jobs that I was most proud of, because it was extremely difficult and I don't want to brag, but you have to be very experienced to be able to come out with a nice result at the end. Because for me, even if I had many years of practice, it was a challenge, and at the end I was quite proud of that artwork.
Nice. Where do you look for your ideas, or how do you develop your designs when you have a particular theme?
Okay, so my biggest inspiration, I think most artists heard that one before, is Mother Nature. So art for me, if you go directly to the source, you'll find all the most beautiful texture and color combination. If you look at the, tropical fish, the colors that you see there, and also the flowers, the butterflies, but you can also look at the skin of an elephant and have texture, and the scales of, there's so many texture that you can use and recreate. You can use the scale of a reptile and create a princess mask. It's really not, for me, my inspiration. If I look at an art that was already done, instead of inspiring me, it blocks me, because in my head it's already done.
Yes.
So it's making a copy of a photocopy of a photocopy. You're losing the most original. So my strength in my career has been creativity for sure, because each time, if you look through my website or everywhere, if you Google Jinny makeup and you see my art, I was never able to really push my limits and create some really big masterpieces, because everything you see, it was created on the spot while teaching or while doing a demo. So it was not sketched before, it was not thought of before, it was not, it's just like I have my canvas, I have my kit there, and I have to cover the skin and create something that will look good. Compared to other artists they have to, sketch everything in advance and really look at what they have sketched and prepare. Me, I don't work like that at all. I go with my feelings and I'll just create. And how many times people walk by or they ask me in the crowd and they say, oh, I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. And I always say, me too, because I don't know. I really don't know. I create from the spot, and I haven't crossed many artists working the same way that I do, because a lot of people they want to prepare, and it's actually, there's not one way better than the other. At one point, I had to question myself, because I thought it was inspiring for me to look at somebody who's all organized and all their sketch are done, and I'm painting this today and tomorrow I prepared this one, and I was looking at this, I'm like, oh, that's cool, because you're all prepared. Then I kind of challenge myself to do the same, but it doesn't work for me, because it slows me down so much. Because what happens if I create something that day and the next day I don't feel it, or the model doesn't inspire me this at all? For me, it's a challenge with, like, it could end up not looking as good as I wanted, but if I follow my feelings, then I know for sure it's gonna work.
And I understand you. When I took part in competitions, I kind of have a sketch, but then if I feel like it should go differently, I always go differently, because if you don't feel like it wouldn't work.
No,
So,
you can't force anything. You have to just, for me, you go with the flow, and you just, I always trust my feeling, and so far it's working well.
And sometimes you have better ideas coming up to your head when you have a sketch, and you just, okay, I think that would work better. And then
exactly. And it's been also a challenge for me, because I've been teaching how to create. I've been teaching beautiful nothings. I've been teaching things that are not as, it's not like teaching how to do butterflies or how to do jeans or how to do clothing, or people, it's easier to market when there's a name to it. So you'll attract more people. For sure, because it's more marketing wise, it's better. And I know that. So I did try in the past, because I can paint jeans and I can paint other things too. But what I really like to teach is to teach creativity. So it's been difficult, because for the students to learn how to create is a big challenge. And sometimes it can get scary for them. They get nervous in the class, and it's more relaxed when you just follow a step by step in front of you,
Yes, that's true.
So,
and also because you know how to paint before, you kind of feel easier.
Yeah. So I learned how to teach and how to guide, because at the beginning I did not realize how blessed I was to create so easily. And then I learned how to teach better, how to give all the tools, as much information as possible for people to change their way of thinking. and how they'll be able to create on their own. So I give all the ingredients so they can cook their own meal, and then they don't need me anymore. Because what happened is, if you teach things step by step, I mean, you can buy a book, you can go on YouTube and follow step by step.
Yes.
But I choose to teach maybe things that are more abstract or more difficult for some people to learn, even though it was not the most popular thing to learn. But I do know that the ones that I was able to teach them how to create, they were very, very, appreciative and very happy that I taught them things that they couldn't really learn anywhere else.
Yes. Have you been in any magazines or TVs? Well,
Really?
you said that you've been to TV or any other large projects.
Yes, for sure. I've been published in so many magazines. I think I did put a lot away because I've been seeing them for so long, and they just hang there. But many books and magazines. There's okay, so there was Illusion magazine from the UK. Yes. I've been published there many times. I was called the first lady of face painting back in 2000. I don't know which year. Also in the Face and Body Art International magazine. That was also another magazine that lasts for a couple of years. It doesn't exist anymore, same as Illusion. And then I was also published in the Makeup Mag from IMATS. Also in there's many. I put them all away. There was different one from the UK, also from New York, and books. Books from Einat Dan that did makeup. The makeup books is really beautiful. I also was published in Cara Cara Wallace. She did different books also. She was also part of the World Body Painting Festival for many years, and she was also an artist and a model, and she published really beautiful books also. So yeah, and the fact that because I traveled so much, I was able to have the visa O. So they only give those visa to people with extraordinary talent, because when you travel, you don't want to get all the problems with the customs.
How is this visa called?
It's called visa O.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, so
I never heard of that.
Yeah. It's O1, but it's quite difficult. So you need to have access to that visa. You have to be recognized in your industry by your peers. You have to have the experience. I think I don't know, a minimum of 10 years or 15 years. I don't know. You have to have been recognized as a judge. You have been published, won awards. Really to show because I had the lawyers taking care of this, so I came with all, because they need the original, so I had suitcases of stuff. I put everything there because they need the original, and they made they worked really hard. Took a couple months, but then after that, when you go through customs, now the customs, the officers, they're really nice after that. They almost offer you a bottle of water. Normally, they're not so nice when you travel to US. Yeah,
I've never been to US, and it's so different. I find
customs is quite scary, because I've had many different visa. I had a TN visa as a consultant when I was creating the line. So I was traveling so much from Montreal to New York because the company was based in New York. So then I got that visa, and but that visa was not as powerful as the O1. So if one day...
So you're in Canada?
I live in Canada.
Yeah. I've never been to Canada either. But is it differently working different with visas and all of this? Because I don't know how does it work, in America.
Well, If
or
I
indifferent?
travel, it depends where you travel, but when you travel, if you're going to make money or if you're going, there for even an exchange, if you say you're working for free, but then they discover that they're paying, the event is paying for your hotel or for your travel, then that means you're paid for. So that means you need a visa.
Oh,
You
I
can't
see.
just, yeah,
Okay.
you can't just go like this and say, oh, I'm just
Okay.
invited or,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
It
that's interesting.
in Europe it probably works a bit
It's
different.
easier,
Yeah, I think so.
much
Just now it is
easier.
definitely yes. Yeah, it depends what country you are in,
For me
and
to go in Europe, it was a dream because it's so easy. You just go in
have
and
you
out.
have you been to Europe? Have you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been
Yeah.
traveling in the past 20 years. I did up to 20 trips a year. So now, I traveled a lot in the US. So I did so many states for many years. And I did, different shows in Vegas and then Los Angeles. I did the makeup show. I did the in New York. I did the fashion show in New York. I did a lot of event in the US, but then I traveled outside of the US. So I went to Europe since 2004. So for 17 years in a row, I went to the World Body Painting Festival in Austria. I went many, many times. Also, I did tours in Australia. I was one of the first one who did tours, and then all the artists, they're like, I want to go to Australia, and then but it was fun at the beginning. I was just open. People did not have access to everything like now in Australia, and they were very happy to have access to paradise, and we brought
Yes. Yes.
the line there and all of it. So I went to Finland, I went to Korea a couple times also to teach there. So I went to a few places.
And have you competed in any competitions?
Yes, I did compete. Actually, so the story is I went to Austria the first time. I was going there to compete. So in 2004, I was there with my assistant, and I wanted to be part of the competition. So I just showed up. I already was known because I was traveling in the US and I was already published in a few places, but I wanted to be there and participate. So I think 5 minutes after I arrived in my hotel room, the phone was ringing, and I was like, who's calling me in my hotel room? I just arrived, and it was Alex Barendrecht, the founder of the World Body Painting Festival. He was calling me, and he says he had the voice like a guy that was freaking out a little bit because one of the judges just canceled, and the event was starting not too much after. So then he said, would you mind replacing him because I'm missing a judge and you're the only one who could do this, and da da da. So I'm like, I was all prepared because normally I'm not prepared, but I kind of prepared myself. So then my assistant was there for me, and we were all ready. But then it's okay because I said okay, and so I've been the judge at the World Body Painting Festival since the first year, and I was also teaching at the academy. So I never got to participate at that one. But then I went to Korea. I was invited to go teach for 1 week before the event, and then I was supposed to go judge. But then when they picked me up at the airport, they said they were asking me, "Oh, hello, Jinny, are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." But I was wondering why they asked me if I'm ready to teach and judge because I was already used to that. And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready." And they say, "You're competing," and I say, "No, I'm not competing." He said, "They didn't tell you?" And I said, "No," because I have no props, nothing. I have the minimal kit to teach. I don't have nothing. So I'm like, nobody told me. And so then they said there's like television show filming me for the whole day, following me while I'm doing my competition, but I don't, and I don't have time to prepare because I'm teaching all week. And I remember sitting in the bus with other artists, I think Nick and Ryan Wolf and Alex Hansen, and they're all competing. And I was saying in the bus going to the stadium, I remember saying, what is the theme? Because I don't know. So anyway, I created on the spot without no preparation, and there was a big bus with all models from all Russian models with very long blonde hair, and they were like, okay, pick your Russian girl. To me, I'm like, okay, this one, and I went to the tent and I created my design, and I asked my friend. I was sharing a room with Bella Volin. She's a very talented artist. She lives in Austria now, and so I asked her to go find me something, like anything, and she said, I don't know what to get. So I said, go to the drugstore. Maybe you can find some clay, to make a mask. I said, I'll create something with the clay. And then she comes back with 2 envelopes, and she said, I can't read. I don't know what's in the envelope because it's all written in Korean. And there's a woman with cucumbers there on the front. I said, I don't know. So I remember mixing this thing in that bowl, and I don't recognize at all the texture. It's not clay for sure. So I mixed it, and then the model, I asked her to sit on the chair, and I poured it on her head, and she went like this, because it felt like I just broke like an egg on top of her head. And I made like a sculpture with her hair and the thing on top. So I'm like, okay, it's going well. So I paint her body, and then because we have 6 hours, so during the whole time I kept coming back to see if it's dry, because I don't even know, it's kind of like rubber, and it felt like still wet. So I'm like, I hope I'm able to paint over it. Each time I'm like, oh Jesus. So at the end I was able to paint on top, and I created my design. And anyway, to make that very long story shorter, I won on each day first place. So that's my only time I compete. I said, okay, I don't have much competitive blood in my. I love to paint, and I just, it's like my meditation, but I don't need to compete with others. I don't have that in me.
Yes. That's also a nice story. I like that.
You're learning a lot, Jinny.
Yeah. Do you own your own brand or support any brand? Tell your story. So we know already that you were taking part in developing Paradise makeup. But can you tell more about this? How did it start?
Okay, so the way Paradise Makeup AQ was born, I have to tell you the story where before Fabaik, when Marcella Murad and I were talking about, starting an event or a convention to have every face and body painter learn more. And Marcella, she's one of the most giving person. She loves to have she's very social. She knows many people. So we're like, okay, we should do like an event in a hotel and organize this. And she really did an amazing job. But before it even exists, we were together just like brainstorming and talking about everything. And we met Carmel, I forgot her last name, like Bloxham or something. She was the one in charge of the Disney parks. in Orlando and also in different cities. So we met her, asking her if there was artists that she already had with her team that would be able to come and teach at the event. And there comes the Wolf Brothers, because we went to have dinner with them, and they were excited because both of them were also part of the first edition, the first convention. Pasher was also there at the beginning, and a few other artists like this. So it was funny because back in the days, the conventions, it was very different because we were max 10, 12, 15, like I would say 15 instructors max for maybe 350 participants. But now it's, I think the last time I went to Fabrique, there was 60 instructors.
Oh, wow.
And most of them were my students. So I feel like a dinosaur. I'm sitting amongst everybody. I think it's beautiful, but I just feel like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah, I have nothing to prove, but I'd rather let the new generation just do their things because, but it's nice, but it's just not, I'm not into the convention that much anymore. But the Paradise Makeup AQ was born from that event because the first year I heard a couple of times before the event, I heard from random people, like where we were doing tours and teaching in different states. Sometimes people would say, "Oh, the president of Mehron asked me questions about you, Jinny," and I was like, I don't know him, and why is he investigating on me? It was kind of strange. So then, more than once. So then I thought I was curious why. But for 2 years, I heard people saying, the president of Mehron is asking questions about you. And I was like, okay. So it happened finally at the Face and Body Art convention, where the president of Mehron approached me one night, and he said, "I would like to meet you tomorrow morning. We can have a meeting for breakfast." And I was like, "Oh, finally, I'll know what's going on." So that's where I had the proposition from him to create a line from nothing. That's what I liked about the project, is that it was not just to put my name on some brand that already exists. It was to work with the chemist from scratch. So it was really created in the lab with the ingredients, the basics ingredients. We mixed and we start again, and we really, really worked hard, like for 9 months. Because once we found like the right color, then it would crack or peel or stain too much. Then we correct the problem. Then we created another one, correct one thing, and then I had to test everything on my face. Luckily, my face is still okay. I had to cover my face with different colors to see if they really are good, because we used the Paradise is vegan, and it was all like products that are good for the skin, mostly natural, except some of the pigments, because it's impossible to have every ingredient's natural. But it's actually good for the skin. So I was really proud to create that line with the chemist of Mehron, which she's not there anymore. But it was nice to work with another woman who would create with me, and it was really, really a good time.
Nice, yeah. Do you run any Facebook groups or forums or shops?
Well, when the pandemic started 2 years ago, 2020, right? I forgot when I started that, but on Facebook I did it's called Creative Souls. So I made that group, and I did let it. I didn't really follow up. But I created this for people to share any kind of art, and not to promote, not to make publicity, not to invite people to events. It's really, when you create something you like, you want to share it, with no purpose, then you just put it, because it's all like creative souls, so people can share like sculpture, face
Oh, I
painting,
see.
canvas
Okay.
drawing, anything. So it's nice and it's inspiring to just look at. And it was going well, but then I was got distracted with the life that has to is going fast, and I kind of let it go. But I've been painting much more lately, doing less face and body painting. So I will keep feeding my creative soul. Yeah.
So, what do you like about face painting world?
Okay, so I have to talk in the in different stage, like different phases, because I feel blessed and I feel very lucky that I was part of a really amazing. To me, it's like a family. I've known people in this industry for more than 20 years. I have made really good friends, and I really like. There's things that I really like. There's also things that I don't like as much, but that's in every
That will be the
that
next
happens.
question. So
That's I'll save it for later. So what I like is the people that are very creative and very open-minded, and it's fun to paint faces because you're actually painting somebody. So I kind of became like a therapist, because when you do body painting, you become very close to people. And I'm passionate about the psychology also. So for me, it was just like a really good combination. Yeah. So
and what do
question?
you dislike about the face painting world?
Okay, so for me, in the face painting world, I would say maybe because I feel like I'm so like I'm very easygoing. I don't like to compare myself to others. I don't need to compete with others. I just do my things. I'm happy to share if people want to see, but if they don't want to see, I'm not going to try. But some people are the opposite. So they're there to compete. They're there to compare themselves. They're there to brag, which I think I've stayed very humble the whole time. So for me, sometimes I cross people that are very like opposite of me, and I try to see the good things about them, but then this really bothers me. I don't like that part,
I see.
but that's just like that's me. I don't sometimes there's a limit. If you're competitive and you're part of a competition, I do understand, but if you're competing with somebody who's not really competing, then it makes no sense,
No. Yeah.
If I'm competing, I'll compete. But if I don't tell you I'm competing against you, it's like.
No, I believe it's like competing with somebody, because it's like it's a creative process. Like I see competition as creating something better than you've done before.
Yeah,
or trying
compete
to
against yourself, trying to challenge yourself
trying
and
to
become
challenge
better.
yourself to do something within certain period of time.
Yeah.
And then you gather with people and you do something together, even though they are doing their own work. But it's not competing against. Yes.
No. Yeah. I'm all about that. But the mentality of competing against somebody, some people do that like all the time, and for me it's not what I like. So that's the part of the industry that I don't like as much. But I mean, there's every type of people everywhere in every field. So I mean, of course, nothing is perfect.
Yeah. I've been lucky. I never met anybody being like not nice. Like for me, it was always like so so good. I mean, with I don't even know how to explain it.
No, but that's just if I'm trying to find somebody, something that I don't like, because I would have never stayed in this industry if that was a big part, because it's just a little part. It doesn't happen all the time. All the people I get surrounded with, they're not like that. But in not only face and body painting, but artists in general, some people will be ready to share, and they'll share their artwork with their heart, and they'll be happy to share.
Yes.
But some people, they want to share, so they'll say, look how good I am, but don't look too much, because I don't want you to copy, I don't want you to take advantage, and this is mine. And if you copy, then that's not only in face and body painting,
that's everywhere. Yes, that's everywhere.
That's everywhere. And since all the instructors, most of the instructors are not like that, because we teach to the others, so that's a generous thing to do. I don't mind teaching, because I know that I'm not going to recreate the same anyway, so I don't care. When people copy me, I don't mind, because then it's for me it's almost flattering, because they got inspired by me. As long as when it turns wrong is if people copy something, then use the exact design to do marketing and do sales on their own with their own name on it. That's wrong.
And not mention it, that's okay if they copy and then say, I was inspired by somebody and used.
Yeah, because I've seen my artwork on someone's truck to promote another business. Or I've seen also other artists using only my stuff, all my images on their website to promote
your images, like
my images. Yeah, I've seen that. Also, there was a university. That's a funny story. I was doing a tour in Australia. I got a message saying, oh, I'm excited to be in your class tomorrow or something, in 3 days or something like that. And it was in Africa. I said, I'm in Australia. I'm not going to teach in Africa in 3 days. And so my assistant there was like, what is this? So we start looking on internet, and then we see there was a university that was teaching makeup classes, artistic makeup. And it was all my work and all my, and I realized it was somebody who was traveling where I was going, filming me in my classes. And so they played my DVDs, because I had DVDs that I produced, to teach. So they were playing my DVDs using Paradise Makeup AQ and playing all the videos of me teaching, but I wasn't actually physically there.
Yeah. Do you come across any difficulties being a body painter or body painting artist?
Difficulties
with clients, with people around you, with anything as a body painting artist?
No, at the beginning I did a few gigs where I was put in a situation where the setup was not really good for me, because I did events. I did like working on a small cruise where it was promoted by like beer companies, and people were drinking alcohol, and my area to paint was not very well limited, so drunk people around a body painter is not a good idea. Actually not for me. So then sometimes I see people putting my brushes in drinks and then in the cake, and I was like, what's going on? And their fingers in there, and I was like, oh, take me out of here, please.
Oh, do you know what I really don't like? When I'm on the party, I have my own workstation, and then they put their drinks on my workstation.
No, that's insulting. So for me, it's very disrespectful. I need space to work, and I'm used to be on a stage or have an area that's really limited. So I was spoiled, because most of the time I had the perfect setup, but it did happen a couple of times when I was like, oh, that's not for me. I just can't have people too close, because if you do something and someone bumps you, you can, actually hurt your model or something like that. And I'm always smiling and nice to people, but if you poke my model in the eye, it's not going to be a smile you'll receive, I might react differently. So I choose not to put myself in those situations.
Do you have any funny stories that you had in face painting events or body painting events?
I did tell a few. What else do I
Yes.
have? I have so many funny stories. Well, I don't know if it's funny, but I know that one time I was going to do a tour in Australia, and I left on Monday, and then I know that people were starting looking for me because it took me 53 hours to get there.
Oh my
So
God.
I got there on Thursday, and because I've been traveling a lot, I did experience a lot of traveling. You know, a lot of traveling stories. I could write books. So we left and everything happened. Like we had a flat tire on the plane. We had a mechanical problem. We missed fuel while in the air, and I had to sleep in. I forgot. Like they made me sleep. I had like 3 nights where they were just shipping me here and there. So after that experience of traveling, then when you arrive, you're kind of a little bit tired. Like 53 hours, it's more than an average week of work. So then I have to start teaching. So plus the jet lag, because it's 14 hours difference. So that's also one of the reasons why I choose now with the pandemic. I was giving myself 2 years to slow down the traveling because I've been in my suitcase for so many years. And with the pandemic started, I just reorganized my life differently because now I'm more into I'm trying to learn how to take care of plants and have a more grounded life where I don't need to be in my suitcase all the time.
And how did you manage with your children being smaller, or they were not that small when you were traveling?
When I was traveling, they were really small. But the thing is, as separated, we had 1 week, 1 week. I was never gone more than half of the year anyway. So we organized the schedule of the kids around my schedule.
Oh, that's good.
So that was really good because I knew a year and a half in advance my schedule.
That's good.
So I was able to give a year in advance the father of the kids exactly which day we would both have the kids. So it turns out really nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
What are the products that you couldn't live without?
When I paint, of course, I used Paradise Makeup AQ. I also love to work with when I do faces, if I put highlights and stuff like that, I really like all the precious gems, like the powders that are kind of iridescent, because I like to put them on top of it so you can actually create some highlights and some shadows and some iridescent, almost like porcelain look over the face. So you don't really use this on kids' face because everything goes so fast. But when you want to create really a masterpiece on the face, and you add the loose pigments on top of it, it really makes it upgrade like a notch. Yeah, that's really nice. And even on body, like salt and pepper, you just rub it, and it creates almost like a velour, like fabric. It's really nice.
Oh, interesting. Do you have a routine when you're planning your design? You said that you're not planning, but do you have an idea? Like you normally would have an idea in your head what you're going to paint or not.
Okay, so how my brain, if I open up my brain and I share with you what's going on, even though I don't put it on paper, what I do in my creative process, I will definitely pay a lot of attention to the model I'm painting, because I like to transform the face. It's never like a known character. It's more like an emotion I want to create. So if I imagine the model on stage already, and I'm trying to imagine what type of character he would be. So even when I was teaching creativity, I tell them to imagine, is it a character that would be very loud and big eyes and, you know, with lots of expression, or would it be like in the back and walking little steps and talking low? Because the expression on the face would be adapted to the character you're trying to create. So even if you're doing something that is abstract or not abstract, like if it's a character, like, I don't know, like a witch or something that's known, like anything, I'll adjust it to, okay, so the witch I want to create, is she like a really mean, or is she like a very more like a soft character? And then I'll create from that, working the features of the face also, and also always analyzing what's around, like what they're gonna, if they're going to have accessories, or is it going to be seen from close up or seen from a distance? So that also is very important. If I'm doing a photo shoot for a magazine, or if it's for a photo shoot or if it's for a walk around type of event, I don't think the same way either, because then you can, if it's for a photo shoot, you can pay more attention to the details that you'll know will be photographed. So many times the back is not even done. But if it's for a walk around, you have to cover. So there's lots of tricks and stuff. If it's for a photo shoot, even before I start painting, I may already have the position in head. So I'll think as far as the picture, is it gonna be like portrait or paysage, because then I'll know in which direction, how she's gonna pose, and then I can cover and pay more attention and do like more professional work, because I'll put all the time that I have exactly where it's needed, instead of wasting time where I don't need it. But I did the mistake, you know, when I started, because if it was for a photo shoot, everything was covered, because in my head, everything had to be perfect. But once you get the experience, you learn how to work more wisely, you know? You think about things in advance, not afterwards. Like the inside of the ears. And people that leaves the line here. So for me, it's like you cover everything, because on the picture, even though you did really beautiful, but you see like big round, then I'm like, I'm not gonna like the picture, so I better do it right.
Yes. Right. Since you're doing judging from time to time, well, you're regularly actually judging. What do you pay attention? What is it most important for you? Is it the story? Is it the painting itself? What do you look at? What is...
Okay. For me, I mean, the beauty of the judging part when people compete is that there's more than one judge, of course, and the judges are mainly selected with different styles and different way of thinking and different way of working, different experience, different age, completely different. So sometimes my favorite was not necessarily the favorite of the other judges, which is a good thing. Also, when we judge, like I'll talk about World Body Painting Festival, because that's the main place. I've been judging many events, also in the UK back in the days. Many times I've been judging in Australia, because there's body painting event everywhere. But I'll just use the one in Austria as an example. So we're 7 judges, and the highest point and the lowest point is removed, because we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. So we really keep the average. So let's say you're my best friend, you compete. No one will be able to say that I made you win, because if I give you 100%, they'll remove it anyway. So it has to be the average. Right? So there's no corruption. Some people some artists or competitors, they'll be upset because they say, oh, it's always the same winning, and it's unfair. So if we're talking about World Body Painting Festival, I can mention Alex Hansen because he's been winning so many years in a row. But I always tell people, guess what? If he's winning, that's because he's a master of what
You
he's
can
doing.
see that. You can see that
So,
he is,
so
his level is.
yeah. So I tell the people, your challenge is not to get upset, but your challenge is to make him not win. Like, if you want to be better, you need to, upgrade your skills, because it's not like it's unfair. People who win, it's because they were good enough to win, and that's what's fair. So so when I judge, I do listen to the story because I think it's interesting, but to me that's not what's going to make the big difference. Somebody can win with a story of 3 words, but the story for me is the overall. When they come in, if I have that feeling, if I say wow to myself and I'm impressed with the choice of colors and the contrast and the wow effect, that to me is a champion, because you're not supposed to have only one area, little things here and there floating, and then I have to be so close to enjoy your artwork. This is for the stage, it's for photography, and when it's body painting, it has to be nice from overall. Or else, if you're doing really nice canvas here, then it's called chest painting. It's not like body painting. And if you're doing face painting and then we don't know where the nose, the mouth, and the eyes are, it's just a painting. You're not using the features of the face. So for me, it's a combination of the wow effect and how much you understand the features of the face and the lines of the body. So it has to be nice from 3D, like overall, when the person is turning, it has to be nice in every angles. So when they come in the tent, they don't just walk like this, they have to turn. We have to look at every side, everywhere. And you can tell sometimes they don't calculate their time right, and it's really nice up front. And then the sides are like covered up, and then the back it's so. So the person didn't really work the 3D effect at that point, and didn't use the lines of the body. So very talented artists can do beautiful artwork on the body, but sometimes I may not call it body painting. For my opinion, body painting has to be in movement and really alive, make the body painting really become alive in every direction. Really nice.
Okay, coming back to your paintings, have you ever forgotten anything from your kit? And if yes, how did you deal with it?
Of course, I did forget all my brushes once. So what I did is, I think I did a full body painting with a roller. But then I end up with all little dots in my face because
it's
so I did
I would never think of this.
It goes actually really well. It goes really nice, but it covers nice. And then by the time I forgot all my brushes, I actually learned, that's where I started, I incorporated new techniques to my classes after that experience, because I learned how to really master that one brush. So I had one brush, so I needed to do all my extreme fine lines, my medium lines, my very thick lines with only one brush. So that was an experience also.
So if you would choose one brush only, what one would you choose?
I like a brush that is like a bold round brush. I don't like the tiny brushes. For me, it's not powerful enough. It's just like little tiny. I like it bold. So for me, a round brush.
Size
could be large. Size, because I called it ball round, but I would say a minimum of 16, or like big.
That big.
Yeah,
that big.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, show us.
I have many, but hold on, I'll just see if I have them. Because now I'm doing more canvases, but I would say, where is it? Oh, this one here. So, well, that's, okay, maybe I put it beside another smaller one. Oh, I have a drawer. Oh, hold on, sorry for this. Okay, so I know some artists will paint with little tiny things. For me,
you've got also maroon brushes, are you?
Yeah.
This one is maroon brush.
They're all, yeah. And then this one is, it's called the medium round. It's number from Paradise 814, but it's compared to maybe a number 6, I think, or something like this.
Something like this.
This one, but this, you know, that's even better for me. Like
is that
the large
8
one.
or even 10?
Maybe 10.
10,
Yeah.
I see.
We don't have the numbers, but it's, you know, it's bold. But I like this one. If I can't, because I'm doing my canvas now, and my brushes are, I have many there. I don't know where it is. Longer and bold is the best, because you can actually, it's like in the aquarelle, when you work with watercolor, you can actually do extremely fine lines, and when you press, you can have really thick line. That's what I like to do, because then you just can press and release and create all kind of texture with that.
Okay, when you're going to event to paint, what kind of kit you've got? Do you use a special table, just a table, or do you have a workstation?
I have, hold on 1 second. Do I have it here? Where did I put that?
If you want, you can send us a picture.
Yeah. I have some on my, hold on, I think it's here. Okay, so I don't like the kits to be like so big. So if I'm traveling, I could go with these 2 little ones. Yeah, because in there I have like so much stuff, and everything is. Hold on, I put my brushes.
So you would pull out the containers with the paint, and then put on the brushes in some kind of case.
Okay, look, in this one I have like my brushes there on top. I have powders, I have palettes, I have glitter marks, I have glitter, I have jewels, I have glitters, I have like everything there. I have some little stencils. I have, you know, anything I want. And then the other one, there's even more. So I just like, this would be for me very easy. And so 2 of these, there's so much in there that, you know, covers really nice. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. I use also, I like Bond's makeup. I don't know if you've tried before this, and SB, because everything comes to an end, and now Paradise Makeup AQ I did create, which I'm really, really proud. But also the fact that I want to stop traveling so much. I'd rather let all the young people take over. I will always do face and body painting and be involved in some way. But for me to keep being on the road and all of this for Paradise, and I'm like, okay, I need to have a life that is better for me at this point, because the jet lag is more difficult on the body when you get older. So I will, Paradise will still exist, I guess, but my name will probably disappear, which is some agreement that we've made together, but also to allow me to use any brands I want. And so there's others, so there's SB here, they have really nice colors, and they're created in France, in Strasbourg, where I also teach.
Is it a little long ago?
The SB, it's a couple of years. Yeah, it's been a couple of years, and also Bonds makeup, Aqua Bonds. They do nice glow in the dark, so really nice.
These are
also.
actually the brands that I don't know. And you know, I was doing a white paint review, and I gathered, I don't know, 20 something brands, I think.
Yeah.
And I you know, I got all of these white paints, and I did this just swatches and see how it works with the different, you know.
To compare.
Yeah, comparing. But I never seen these brands. I'm
No,
like,
they're
oh
not.
my.
Because
So they're new.
Bonds makeup, they're made in Mexico by people that I've known for many years, and they're really, really good products. And SB is a friend of mine. She's also the owner of a makeup school, of two makeup schools in Strasbourg and Montpellier in France. And she also has a boutique, and she sells all kinds of brands, including Paradise, but she also has her own line, and the products are really nice. So yeah, I'm going in April next month. I'm going back to teach in Strasbourg in France, and I also use I like to use her products there.
Are you going to France next month?
Yeah, I haven't booked my flight yet, but I'm going to France to teach at the Metamorphose, the school with Matteo and Nick.
I see. I'm going to France as well next month. In May. Yeah, next month.
Okay.
It's for the body painting competition.
Oh.
For awards. I thought maybe you'll be there. No, okay.
We'll be there at the end. I think it's the first of end of May, 1st of June, something like that.
I see. Okay.
Oh
well. What I was going to say. I wanted to ask you about these brands. So are they the same type as Meron? Like glycerin-based paint, or they're different?
Yes. No, they're not. They're not like a wax base. There's not on the other side. I like it when it's like
creamy,
easy and blend easily. Yeah.
Okay, so they're more like just professional interest.
Yeah. No wax.
Okay, I see. I
like wax as well. I like the one that are more waxy. For me, it's good for outlines and opaque, but I like to do a lot of blending. For me, it's not my best option. But I appreciate it. Every product is good as long as you know how to use it.
Agree.
So if you try to blend with colors with the brand that has wax in it, it just sticks to each other, and then you create like a hole. So there's no point of fighting against. Just you better use it the right way, and then it's always good, but you have to use it the right way. So,
that's true. What are your other hobbies apart from face and body painting?
I like that question. My hobbies. I like to, like I said earlier, I'm very passionate about psychology, so I love to read stuff and understand things about psychology. I love to meditate. I also love to do sports. I like all kinds of sports. But I mainly love to do canvases, so that's my thing that I do when I have time for me, and I love to create on canvas. So right now I do more canvas painting than body painting.
Do you do any other interesting things?
Anything connected to my art is something that interests me. So lately I did start doing tattoos, real tattoos. But I only tattooed my kids, my boys. They request it, and then I create on them. I'm learning alone because I tried to take classes, but with the pandemic, and it's difficult also to find a tattoo school. So what I did is I did take classes on all the hygiene, everything that's super important. The procedures. So this I have. I took a class, and so I have my certificate for this, so that's good. But for the rest, on YouTube, I can learn so much. I practiced on fruits, on bananas and oranges, just to learn how to needle. And then when my kids were ready, I was able to create on them, and they're really happy about it. So I also love to do some drawing on my iPad. So I use Procreate. There's the program that I create some face charts. And I did. You can see it also on my website. There's a link to all the face charts that I created. And the reason why I was doing this is to take out my creativity on digital, where people actually can just look at the creation and then recreate, just so they can practice the techniques they learn. Most of them are student, and you can see it also on my Instagram page, where I did cut half of my digital and cut half of the real work that my students were able to recreate, and it gives you really nice result. It's quite impressive, and it's flattering because I like to inspire others, but I also love to see how talented other artists are and can create things like that. So I like the digital painting also.
Great. And what is your professional background?
So I studied art when I was younger. I always studied art, and then the family was saying, "You can't really make a living of studying art. You'll be poor, and you won't be able to pay for nothing." So then they forced me to find something that has more potential. So I specialized as an interior designer. So I had my office, my own business for 4 years as an interior designer, but I was also doing face and body painting at that time. And then the body painting took over, so I didn't have enough time to continue the interior design. So that's what happened. And then, because I never chose to become a face and body painter, like I said earlier, I just suggest myself, to replace, and then everything just built up really quickly, like a big storm. And I'm a person where I follow my feelings and I just go with the flow. So life was just like a really nice, like a nice wave where I just follow my feelings, and that's what I've been doing. So yeah, I only did face and body painting with no other jobs at the same time for 20 years.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was my main. That was my moneymaker as a single mom.
That's nice, actually. Yes.
Yeah. So I did that, but now I'm living, because most people have like real jobs, like an adult job, and then they dream of becoming doing only face and body painting. Well, I was actually dreaming of having a real job. Because I know it makes no sense, because in my head I thought I'm like, oh, it must be fun to be stuck in traffic every day. No, I'm just kidding, but it's true though, just to have a routine. Yes. Because I never had one. So when you don't have something, you kind of, not that I was dreaming of being stuck in traffic, that's not true, because now I'm stuck in traffic and I don't really enjoy it, but it's that kind of life where I have to build something and be more invested, instead of always being from one place to the other and unpacking and repack right away. So now I can actually take care of my health, because when you travel, you eat in restaurants, and when people welcome you, they're happy to come and invite you at their best restaurant, and most of the time it's not salads. And then have a drink, have a glass of wine, and celebrate. And then your routine to, do yoga or exercise, it's not always easy. So for me now, I'm choosing more myself. which I was always able to, do things for myself through my career. But now I choose to, now I have a real adult job that is nothing to do with the body painting. And it's for me, it's such a big challenge because it's very far from my brushes. But it's going well.
And what is it you do? Do you want to share or not really?
It's so weird because since the pandemic, I just adjusted myself because my travels, I had to cancel like 6 trips that were planned. And when it started, I was in France, and then I had another trip going to Cuba. When I come back, I was like, okay, we cannot travel anymore. And I was stuck. So I'm like, okay, I can't just wait and be depressed. So I found myself other jobs. And so I still have, still doing my business because I was doing canvas and they were selling like even before I start painting them, and I was still involved in the body painting industry doing online classes for some events or stuff like that. But I don't really like doing this anymore. Like online, for me, it's not what I like. I like to be closer to people.
Yes,
Um,
yes, it's
there's
more
many
interesting to.
classes now online, and that's like, I think for me it's a sign of, okay, I was there for the good years, and if it's okay if people like it, I respect that, but it's just not my thing. So everything adding up, it just like put me, I applied different for different jobs, and now for the past year I'm working in it's a center for blood, plasma, and platelets donation. So it's in the health industry. So it's very special because when you're an artist, you always, well, there was phase in my career where I was questioning myself, like, I teach face painting or body painting, and it's like, what do I do for, to make a difference or to help others? And people, my students, they would say, you changed my life, and I had really nice comments, and I take them, but still wondering,
Yeah, I know what
really,
you
like.
mean. Yeah.
So then I was far from doing a difference in other people's life, like something more concrete. So I applied to this place in Quebec. It's called the EMA Quebec, and we take all the donations and give to people who need, to survive and to. So for me, it's really a direct link, and I'm learning so much on all the medical and the blood donation, the platelets, and it's a big challenge for me, especially because I've been teaching creativity to people, and I keep telling people how not stop thinking, don't think, just go with your feelings. But now in the industry that I am, I've been doing. I've been in training. I had to learn like so much, and I thought my brain would not be able because I've been to school so long ago. So I thought my ability would not be so good, but I'm actually better than I thought I was. And I've been going up in the company really quickly, actually. So it's a big challenge, and I actually really, really love it.
Yeah. Sometimes you think that if you stop to learning, it's going to be really hard to do that, but it's not actually true because your brain is so advanced. You just
I thought my
learn
brain
our
was.
life. So yes.
I thought my brain was maybe like a bear en train d'hiberner, hibernated. Like my brain was like completely.
Oh, but you know
I
what?
thought so.
When you're creating, your brain is always working.
Yeah.
Working. So I think artists have like good exercise for their brains always.
Yeah.
So I believe
So
in that.
during the pandemic, I've been doing the best of both worlds. I was creating and painting canvas. I was also learning a lot, like studying, and helping others doing the job that I do now, which I really love. And I love the team I'm working with and all of it. So, and more grounded. So, with my boyfriend, and everything is very smooth. And I'm exactly at the place I wanted to be, because I knew that traveling is something that I feel blessed, and I feel very lucky for all the countries and the cities I've seen for many, many years. Um, but, I think that it's always good to leave also when you feel like I've been to the end, and it's not negative, it's actually good, and I will keep painting all the time. And like I said, there's places where I want to go back, and I'm still going to teach in Europe at that school, because I enjoy it, and I'm able to do both. So for me, it's really good.
And would you like to attempt any other profession? Or if you would have a chance, what else would you do?
If I was able to, I think I would like to, teach yoga, or do something that, like teaching something that is more physical. Because I've done the creative one. Now I'm learning something that is very technical, and to do something that would be more physical and maybe spiritual something. I think it would be completing, my whole person, because my personality is we're all very complex, but I'm a lefty, I'm creative, I love to cook also, I love to create the recipes, so maybe something in the cooking, I don't know, I'm open to everything. And when the pandemic was, worldwide, and when I was chatting with other artists, some people like me, they were able to adjust themselves, and just because I don't define my whole persona as my talent. It's just, I have talent, but I'm so much more than that. So, but some artists who were more depressed, they thought that they were only their art. So, I think that's more limited, and it's kind of sad, because then they were just so depressed, where I was like, that's a chance for me to become better and learn more things, and move and help others and do things. So for me, I saw it as an opportunity.
And how would your life change if you would have unlimited amount of money? What would you do?
If I had limited amount of money, very, very limited, can I eat or
unlimited, unlimited, unlimited. You have a million, a few millions. You just can't spend whatever you want to. So what would you do?
Well, definitely, I don't think I wouldn't like to live in a big house. I was raised in really big houses, and I don't like it anymore at all. I remember when I was growing up, there was rooms in the house that we were not allowed to go in, and it's to me, it's strange. And when you grow older, you realize that what you need is not bigger. For me, material is making me more. It's too much on my shoulder. I don't like to have too much material. I like to have good quality, I like to have good things, but I don't need to have big for no reason. I don't need to have lots for no reason. So if I have lots, I will give it away, or I'll just share it with others who need it. And I'm not, I don't know, I would like to, maybe if I was really, really rich and able to do whatever I want, I think I would like to rent houses, but for a longer period in my own country, because I haven't traveled in my own country, and we have a beautiful and big country. So I would like to rent a really nice place, by the ocean, and in places in my own country to discover, and not just for 1 week. I would rent it for a full summer, and then I would enjoy
Nature
the
around you.
mountain. Yeah, just like longer because it's expensive to do that, but I think it would be really, really nice. And I also want to travel Canada, maybe by train and just like cross Canada and stop where I want to just enjoy my own country. So that would be things that I would love to do.
What item would you be lost without?
I don't know. My mascara? No, I'm kidding. What? Are we talking makeup or something else?
No, whatever in your life. What is the item that you're most attached to?
I don't know. My Vitamix?
I don't even know what is it. What is it?
It's a blender.
Oh, I see.
It's an expensive blender, but it changes your life,
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Now I like my coffee machine.
Coffee machine and blender. Yes, there are things that you cannot.
I don't know. I'm just thinking my car. No, I don't have nothing in particular. I like things that will bring me like. I like to drink my coffee, of course, and I like things that, my yoga mat, or I like things that are good for my health or good for, I have many cups because I always like to drink water or herbal tea and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of like special cups. I don't know. It's like
So you drink herbal teas as well.
I like herbal tea, like different kind of flavors and coffee. I like many things. I like the change. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really answer right. You can skip that one.
What person, dead or alive, would you like to meet for dinner or for a day? Just to meet.
You!
Oh.
No,
I would love to meet you. You're such a jolly person, really easygoing. It's really nice to chat to you.
It's funny because when you say that, I forgot which. I think I was in the Netherlands, and I was with someone. We were going in Amsterdam, and at one point we were just laughing and having fun, and she said to me, "Oh, you're not at all what I heard about you." And I was like, "What?" and then it sounded like it was negative, and I say, "What do you mean?" And she said to me that she heard things like maybe I was a little bit, and I'm so not like that, but I do understand why she said it to me because then she kept feeding me more information, and she told me it was in reference of Austria, where I'm a judge. And if you don't know me at all, and if you just see me on stage or as a judge or talking about, but you don't know the person, so the person may just think that I am like that. But I'm everything except that. Like I judge body painting, but I'm still not the judging person in life. I'm very simple. So for me, it's funny because that's really strange when I think about how people will sometimes associate first impression or things they heard, and I think we would live in a better world if you could just take this away and people would just really take time to know people before you have an opinion about them. Because I think most of the time I always stayed very professional and nice to my colleagues and my students. For me, it's important to stay professional and be nice to everyone I meet. So I think that my professional reputation was actually, stayed really good, except that one time. And I'm sure there's other people, but I think when you're known, you have to also be careful of how you act when you're in a different situation, or if you're at an event, and if there's a party, you have to be there, but you don't want to end up like dancing on the tables either, because it's kind of it's strange, because if you're a man, it looks better than if you're a woman and you do that, unfortunately.
Yes.
The men will be cool, but then the woman will be like, oh.
That's true.
It's
That's
strange,
true.
right?
You know, like
Yeah.
I'm a teacher as well. I have part-time job as a teacher, and I cannot paint myself. I cannot be a model at all. Like I set myself the standard because I paint myself till that.
Yeah.
I cannot just it's not like I don't want to, like, or I don't need to, but I'm not doing that also, because you need to think of things and what's happening behind. So yes, it's
I respect that. I have never been body painted either. I don't want to, because I don't feel like I would be, because I don't know. Some people will do it. For me, not. And it's weird because other artists will say, well, you do it to others. You should know how the feeling. You should know how, yeah, but I'm not interested in being body painted.
Do you paint on yourself?
Oh, I did many times.
Because you know how you feel when you are in a different character.
Yeah, for sure.
It's different. You feel totally different.
For sure. And I also was because I have many different lives. But I was also part of a circus for 10 years in Montreal. And I was a character, so I had to do my makeup, and I was performing in the circus. That happened once a year, but for many years we just do it. It wasn't a big I don't know how many thousands of people going there. It was a big circus. So I did that, but I also, when I was starting painting, I was painting myself. So I made my own portfolio with all my face. My face as a raccoon, as a frog, as a fish.
Okay.
It was very funny. So I did all that.
So I missed actually this question when whether it was what other profession you did. So maybe it's worth telling, because it sounds very interesting. I thought because you said that you were 20 years painting, like being a face painter.
The clown is because the father of my kids. I met him in a bar, but I did not know he was a clown, because I don't really like clowns, right? So he did not tell me in the bar. He told me later. So then he come to pick me up. I was living with my mom, and then he looked in the back of the room. There was a unicycle. So he's like, what are you doing? Whose is this? I said, it's mine, because I used to play basketball on a unicycle when I was a teenager.
Oh, cool.
So I was just in the unicycle team, basketball players.
Never heard of something like this existed.
That's the only time I heard about it. That was me and the team. But anyway, that was different. So he was very impressed. He was like, that's a sign. Like, she has a unicycle in her yard. So we went to dinner, and then he told me he was a clown, and I was like I didn't really like it. So then, we started dating and everything. But then he was hired to do circus tours, and he had to leave for like 2 months and do the circus tour. So then he did one by himself, but it turns out like it's a lot of money. He was making good money. And then for the next time, he was like, I have to go back for 2 months. He's like, if you would come with me, we would make double And I said, that's interesting, but I did not want to be a clown and look. I didn't want to be a clown that's like 4 years old with the little like this. For me, it was just like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. So I actually did it my own way. So I designed, I created, I drew the costume I wanted to wear, and then I had somebody create the whole concept, and I designed my makeup and everything. So then I said, okay, I'll be like a spice clown. I wanted to be more like an older version, almost not drag queen, but kind of more cool to me. So I did that character. So we went on tour and we did the 53 days in 53 cities in 53 days, 3 shows a day. It was yeah, I did this a couple times. I did it also when I was pregnant, and I had my older one he was 16 months, I think, and I was pregnant 7 months, and I was still doing the jumping rope thing. So I was just
on unicycle or not?
I did. So I did many things, and so I think about it now, and I'm like, it's kind of making me dizzy to know like how much stuff I did in my past. That's why I'm ready to just live in my little job and stay here. So I've been doing tours in different circus, and then we did the Bell Center in Montreal, whereas we have all the hockey games, and it's the thousands of people. So that's the Christmas circus that we have there. So we did this, we hired other performers, and we were also part of this big project. So I may need to find some pictures, and maybe I'll send them to you.
That would be great. Yes. And okay, let's go even further back. Are there any nice or funny things that you did in your childhood? Interesting things.
Well, I was raised, like I said, in the really big houses, more in the country, and we had horses. So I was getting up early in the morning, taking care of the horses, and also we did some going on the trails. Sometimes there was rallies that were organized, and I do remember I was younger, but I remember one of the rally we had to go for a full day without the saddle, just sitting directly on the horse, and we had like challenges through the day that we had to do. So one of them was to use some tobacco and that piece of paper and try to roll a cigarette like Lucky Luke or something, but sitting on the horse with no saddle. So I remember as a younger girl trying to roll a cigarette, and then they would judge like if it was well rolled. I'm like, so I didn't get that challenge. And at the beginning of the rally, we had to pick up eggs, as many eggs as possible, and put them somewhere on us, so that at the end of the rally we would score more points if the eggs were not broken. So for 6 hours we had to like make sure that the freaking egg would not break on us, So I remember those funny rallies, and even with the eggs and the everything, and the horse would have to go and swim across a lake, and so you have to just hold on with no saddle. And so that was something that was not common for people, because my friends, not many had horses, and I remember a lot of people, the young one at school, when they knew where I lived and the horses we had, they would want to become my friends, like the people who has a pool when it's hot, And it's like, okay, people want to get closer to you, but I have a nice, I have a nice experience with the horses. But I was raised where when you have a horse, you don't share your horse. It's only one. So people, to please me, would say, "Oh, would you like to go horseback riding?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't, because I, in my head, you don't rent a horse. It's your horse. You don't share it. That's my mentality now. So, you know, because the horses that are rented, they're all very, not so, it's not fun because they just like.
You're not attached to them and you don't know them and, you know, yeah. I
It's
never
not the
had a
same
horse
thing.
and I didn't have much experience, just a little bit, and yeah.
I was so close to,
different.
my horse was called, I had two. I had one that was blonde with very long, she was white, very beautiful. And my second one was, so the blonde one I called Farah, for Farah Facette. She was a non
does it mean anything?
actress. She was an actress with blonde hair.
Okay.
So Farah. And the other one was called Belle. Belle. Like in French, well, not as the in cloche. Belle in French means beauty, beautiful. Nice. Yeah. So she was my horse. So we were very connected. So it's almost telepathic. Like you can actually communicate without doing much. So when you rent a horse, you have to exaggerate every movement because they become very stubborn. But when you have your own horse, it's not the same dynamic at all. Yeah. So yeah, that's my youth. It was in the country. I like the country a lot, but I like the city also. I'm Gemini, so I like the contrast of everything. I wouldn't want to live just in the country or just in the city. Actually, never lived in the city because for me it's kind of just where all the action is. But with kids and everything, I didn't want to live.
It's easier to yes. I think it's easier to live in a city when you're a student or something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have access to everything, but when you grow up, when you have kids, it's so good to be on a village or close. Yes.
Yeah, have
your garden and everything. Yes, it's so handy. Definitely.
So we have this, and we also, when my kids, they loved animals. So in the house, at one point, now I don't own any animal anymore because I've had many. But at one point, my kids, they had like little reptiles, and we had a dog, a cat. I had a parrot, and I had I think at one point the father of my kids, because he was also a performer, we ended up like with rabbits for the performance, and also we end up like with I think it was a chicken or a rooster in the garage, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then he surprised me with a skunk. So the skunk was in my veranda, and I'm like, because
how does it smell? How does it? I never smelled it.
He said to me that it's really bad. The smell is horrible, but because it was a baby, she was not there yet.
Okay.
She didn't have the smell yet. But it was going to happen soon, so I got really nervous about the skunk. So at one point, I was telling my kids, I said, well, if your friends come, we have to sell little tickets, $2 to see all the animals we have in the house. So because I have too many, now I'm like, I don't want zero. I love animals, but I'm like, no. I choose my life, because I did cut a lot of fruit salads and stuff, and in the morning take the time to feed everyone. I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, and do you have any fictional character that you identify with?
A character? Like what? What's yours?
Oh, I don't know.
See? You better know your answers, because if you're asking me...
Maybe an animal as well.
I think I'd be like a feline or something. Like a very strong, but also kind of flexible and... camouflage, but sexy, and like I think in a feline, when I don't know what to paint, it will be inspired by, either cat, leopard,
Mm-hmm.
because I like the blending and I like the texture of, I think that to me it's very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what
Do
I
you
would say.
have any movie that you can watch over and over?
Uh, well, with my kids, we did watch a lot the movie of Johnny Cash.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the movie, but we watched it so many times. And I remember also my son really liked uh, Tom Hanks was playing in it. It was with the volleyball
Oh
Wilson.
yes, on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
So
nice one. Yes.
so my son was really young when it came out, and it lasts a long time. That movie, it's very long, and it's like not much action because he's lost on that island. And I thought my son would get bored. He watched the whole thing sitting like this, like watching it. Never, I thought he had like he would have a problem to concentrate for so long, and he was just so into it. And he's like, "Mom, Wilson," and he was just like loving that movie so much. So I did watch it a couple times, and actually now I use, if you hear me say, "Oh, that's very Wilson," so that means that it's kind of a selfish. If I call someone a Wilson, because he's just thinking about himself, he's alone, alone on his island, So I use this as an expression now. So if someone forgets to, share something, or said, "Oh, okay, you're being a little Wilson now," and they know like what I mean.
I see.
I have my own language.
Yeah.
I like to change expression and play with words and have my own language. So it's like in the Jinny world. So there's a lot of things happening in my head.
What is your favorite or most inspirational place?
Actually, I think it would be in that room that I'm talking to right now, because I have this is where I create, and when I feel, sometimes, if more in the last years, because the hormones are some all over the place, and there's specific time, specific weeks during the month where I need to come more often in this room, because I feel like I'll be more not as pleasant with certain people. So I
Moody.
know in advance. So, and it's okay, because if people around me know that I need my alone time, then it's fine, because I just do my things, and I don't need to stress others with the way I'm feeling. So I'm not always like that, but when I need it and I need to have my time alone here, I feel really, really good here. So I create, I have, I can create, I can make little cards. I have rocks I can come and paint. I can do canvas, bigger or smaller project. And I like to also write. I did study when I was in school. I was specializing more into writing, like journalist, and I love writing and creating with words. So that's also something I like to do. So yeah.
That's why you like to create your own kind of language, your own expressions.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I'd like, at one point I say, with all my experience in life, maybe one day I'll write, a book or something. I don't know. Maybe
That
we
should
need
be
a few.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. There's many, many stories.
What are these? What are some unusual places you've been?
Most unusual places I've been, I would say in Malabo, the island that we went for many reasons. It was unusual for me because I did travel a lot, but many things happened when I was traveling there, because there's Malabo is near Laos. I don't know how
I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's part of Africa. So it's Guinea Equatorial Guinea, and but it's closer to Laos, so it's just a small island, and so I didn't really know what to expect. So they speak French and Spanish, but it's African, and we were living in a hotel that was Chinese. So I was a little bit lost. And it was very, very strange. The all African people speaking Spanish, and I was eating rice in my Chinese food. It was confusing, I would say. And it was also, it's an island that it's either very, very rich or extremely poor. So the contrast is very confusing. It's very special, and it was very corrupted. The country, the island was very corrupted, and lots of things that were different and unusual for me. Yeah.
Who is the most interesting person that you've met? I know it's a hard question because you need to single someone like out of. You can answer it your own way. It's up to you.
I did because I was doing some jumps for some Soleil, and I was doing special events, so parties at the owner's house, Guy La Liberté, and he also is friends with Bono, the singer from U2. So he was having him come for dinner at his house, and Bono wanted to. He loves body painting, so I had to do body painting while they're eating in the house, and I have to do the body painting there. But right before I started doing the jump, I was going at his house, but there's a long driveway, and it's very curvy like this, and I have my Beetle, so I was riding it, not expecting there was a car coming, right? So this big limousine comes, and it's huge, but I don't think about how long it is, so they're trying to turn, but they were taking there's no space for my car, so I have to brake really, really quickly. And my car stopped like at this far from the limo. Then the window went down, and there was Bono. And I opened my window, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he's laughing. He was cool about it. I said, this is very narrow. And I kept thinking, imagine if I crashed into Mono, that wouldn't be nice. But I was very nervous, and it was just like a weird, because I don't have any, some people get really excited or like more groupie, which I don't know. I did meet many famous people and see them from a little further, a little closer, spoke with a few, and I mean, to me, everyone is even, and we all have a different life, of course, and I'll admire people for their talent for sure, but I can recognize when somebody's good at what they're doing, but not only because it's under the camera that it's better. I mean, of course they're more rich because they have more money for many things, but to admire somebody, for me, doesn't mean to have to be somebody famous or somebody that's super, super rich or, things like that. So I would say I have nobody in particular that I can name, but many people in specific time in my life that I met that were special. So it's just made my person more complete, but yeah, I don't have a reference like one, not possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in your spare time?
I just paint. I
Okay,
like
don't
my
worry.
brushes.
Fine.
I like to paint and be outside. Like if I'm not doing, because the sports I like to do is mainly in the summer I like to be on my kayak a lot on the water, and I like doing bike rides, like leave for the day and go on longer bike rides. I like that. I like cross country skiing in the winter,
Nice.
and
Yeah. I used to do cross country skiing for
yeah,
in teenage
I
time. Yeah, I loved
I
it.
love it. I love it. I like it when it's not too complicated to do. So, skis, cross country, you can just go anywhere. My
Yes,
kayak
yes.
is ready to go in the water, so it's always available. I don't like it when it's too complicated to achieve, because or else you won't do it as regularly. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice you've been given?
Um, best advice I've been given. I would say, especially to enjoy and just enjoy the moment, just because it's something that we hear all the time, but not many people are able to do. So when you think about it, if you really focus on this and try to not necessarily meditate about it, but when you're somewhere, when something makes you impatient, or if I can be a better person at that specific moment, that would be something that change your life for a long time, because you can repeat every hour of your day, and you can just keep getting better and doing things right, just enjoying the moment, the present moment. So for me, that would be the best advice.
Okay. Yeah. If you would start your body painting, body and face painting career again, would you do anything differently?
Not at all. Everything everything was perfect. I feel very blessed of the career that I've had, because I don't know any other artist that have a similar career to mine. There's many artists that have, their own, of course, but similar to mine, where I got to create a line from scratch. I know there was other brands with names and stuff, but they were not. The name was added to a brand that already exists. Um, so for me, the challenge was bigger and more satisfying for myself, because I was quite proud, especially with all the tests. And I thought at the beginning it would take like 2 weeks, but it took 9 months, exactly the time for a baby. So that was a really, really nice thing. And I was really spoiled also by the company who created the line, because when I traveled, I lived in a really nice hotel, and I got to discover really nice places. So not every artist are able, because when you organize a trip to go somewhere, most of the time you have to pay for your own stuff, and you have to organize. And me, I was just like, my kit was shipped where I was going, and I just like, so I appreciate everything that was done for me. And I also got, to because I created the line, I had my royalties from the sales that were international. So that was also like a present. I didn't really have to work, because I already had my royalties. So it was just like a really the setting that I made of my work and my career and everything. I think I started very early to create income that would go without me. So I made years ago, I produced a VHS. That makes me very much older, but the videos cassette. So I made 3 of them classes that were sold, and I sold many back in the days, and people were excited. So that's before YouTube, right?
Yes, yes.
Way before. Then I Then I produced 2 DVDs. Those also I sold many, many. I also made my first book. It was on the computer. You know when the computer was that thick with the screen
Yes,
smaller?
yes.
And I was making my book because I was going to an event and I wanted to sell something. So I made face painting techniques and advices on a small book that I cut myself, and I put the thing all together. I sold like thousands, and I was like quite proud. But I see the book now, and I'm like, I can't believe people. I was selling those books, I think $20, and they were costing me $4. I was like, I'm so excited. So I started so these books, I kept shipping and the DVDs and all of this, but then YouTube. So then I had my YouTube chain. I have some videos that are close to 1 million views. I have like videos that were 700 or 800 views, which is nice, but I don't put the effort to, like, the quality is not so good. And if you want to be successful on YouTube, you have to make good quality and you have to be consistent and make your own crowd. Because I do have a few followers, but not many. Maybe, I don't know, I think I have 11,000. I'm not even sure because I haven't been there for a while. But it's a nice opportunity. But a lot of artists who are famous on YouTube, that's also a problem that the industry had to deal with, because I've been teaching in many makeup shows that were out there in different cities, and then we realized that a lot of the famous artists on YouTube were invited as guests to these makeup shows, right? So because they have, so many followers, all the tickets for those makeup shows were sold to people that were 14 and 16 years old, coming to see their idol, who does their face painting in their living room, but never had a job working on a movie or a real job, never painted anybody else than their own face in their living room, but they have 1 million followers. So it's very strange, because then the crowd and everything was not corrupted, but everything changed. Then you have so many attendees, no more space for the pros who are there to buy stuff. But then you see all these young people doing lineup just to have a signature of their famous person on YouTube. So it really affected the industry, and the people who organized the bigger shows, they knew the problem. They were like, that's a problem, it's not good. They were trying to stay away from that, but that's not something you can control. So it's a reality. And then all the makeup and the trade shows, they started going down, less people, because people buy online, and online classes, and famous people from YouTube, and things change, and we have to adjust. And like, I'm not going to say negative things, because I think that's the reality. We have different phases, different way of living, different things. So good for them if it's working well. Some people do really good money doing that, and I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. It's really nice. You never had a real contract, a real job painting others, but you're actually a master at painting those.
You know what? When I'm asking children at school what do you want to be, what they want to do.
A YouTuber?
Yes, most of them. Well, so many say they want to be YouTubers. It's a bit sad, because it can't be all YouTubers, but but imagine like 15, 20 years ago, when I was like just after university, I wasn't thinking of the profession as YouTuber.
No,
I would never think. I don't know was it existent this time. Probably not. Probably just started. So so strange. Yes.
It
It's
is
not
really
bad, but
strange.
it's yeah, so different.
It is so different, and they've got some people who were offended because um, I don't know if you've heard the story. I don't, it's a couple of years ago. There was a famous brand hired a famous YouTuber to come and work for an event, right? And then the model sat there, and the YouTuber just confessed, saying, "It's the first time I paint somebody else than myself." And so the model was a little bit uncomfortable, but said, "Okay, I'll give her a chance. You know, it's okay." But the artist forgot, didn't have mascara. It's actually the director had some in her purse, like things that you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe." So lots of famous, you know, lots of money involved,
Yeah.
but the quality at the end or the experience is not there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's experience.
well,
I'm like,
yes.
okay, I'm out of there. Like I just can't. For me, it's like
Well,
I leave it for others.
this is a different kind of experience, let's say.
Yeah. That's the extreme. That's the extreme, but it happened.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Oh well. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Speaking about time.
Hopefully I see myself, you know, maybe, at the same place that I'm working at right now. Still exactly the same. I would say I would like to keep painting, maybe having, maybe varnishing, have my canvas, I don't know the word in English, un vernissage. Do like an exposition, my art with my own style. Because right now, I paint. People order me what they want. So far, they want something for this big, with those colors, with that style, and then I'll create something with that. But I would rather create a few with my own style, with no special requests, and then people buying exactly my style. I like it now because it's okay, because I still create, but it's orders, so they're already sold. So I can't
have them on
I don't have time to put them together.
But then you know what? When you start painting them and you start gathering them. It's like my husband just recently opened a cafe. And I was painting for a cafe. Well, I had a few ideas to paint. I wanted before, and now that was a chance for me to do that. So I put all my works in there. But imagine putting, you have one work, another work, and I was just placing them somewhere until I actually could put them in the cafe, and that was actually. That's like, oh, now I don't have any works in my house because they're on the cafe.
They're all gone. But that's why I think that in my home, my canvas, they probably will never be the right size or the right color where they belong, because it's my storage. I just put them there, if I can, and then so yeah.
It's hard
because
you have an idea and then you paint it. You have another idea, and then would it match all together? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I want to do more like a series and something that there's a logic, common sense, or something. So this will happen in the next 10 years for sure. I'll keep painting. I want to. I bought this home where it needs a lot of renovation. So in 10 years, hopefully, it's going to be exactly the way I want it. And at my job, I just hope that, I'm always learning and performing better. And, so that's it. I think it's in 10 years, I see myself probably everything the same, but just better, just more in control of everything, and yeah.
And do you have any dream project apart from that one that is to make exhibition somewhere?
Maybe writing books. That would be a nice thing, later in life. Maybe not too late, but I would start writing, and that would be a really nice achievement for me to publish a book. Even though everything now is getting on, you can buy the ebooks and stuff, but I think just holding a book that I wrote, that would be a really
That would be
nice
nice, yes,
project.
yes. And what kind of book would it be? Would it be a novel or something like stories of your life?
I don't know.
You don't know.
There's too many ideas. See, that's the thing when you're creative. It's not that I'm lacking ideas. It's that the problem is I have too many. So I have ideas of books for children that I would like to illustrate. I also have ideas of books where it could be a biography, but then at one point I'm like, oh, it's okay, maybe it will interest a few people, but maybe not, at the same time, because why my life would be more interesting than someone else? And then I'm thinking, something that would be completely inventing a story, like, I have so many ideas that I don't know which one's going to come out first. Maybe there'll be more than I don't know. Maybe I'll become like a writer.
I will be waiting for your book.
Maybe that will be my 12th career, where I have something else, and then I'll become like a writer. I don't know. I'm open. I just follow the waves, and everything is always good if you trust yourself and you believe in your things. I always say I don't have dreams, because when you say you have a dream, it's something that you can't really achieve. I call it more like a project that I can actually make happen for real.
What are the main skills you think that help you to work as a face and body painter?
The fact that I'm
not creative skills, just personal skills.
Okay. Well, the fact that I'm ambidextrous, I can actually work with both hands. That's all. That's practical when I'm painting.
Did you practice that?
Yeah, many times. Actually, 2-3 years ago, I broke my shoulder when I was doing bike. So I fell and it completely broke. And I'm a left-handed, so
me too.
I cannot move. And it happened at the end of October, when I had many jobs booked, right?
I see.
So I had my arm was wrapped and I could not move it. And I had to travel to go teach in Mexico with my other hand. I had to teach my whole class with my right hand.
But now it makes it easier for you to.
Now it's like.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. It is. And if I'm painting, I can use. While I'm painting, sometimes I just switch tool and I use both hands like this.
Oh, cool. I was at my childhood, I was trying to write, so I can write both hands, but it's not like I can paint. But that was one of the projects that I wanted to do. I wanted at some point, I wanted to create funny videos, how you write with your paint with your left hand. Well, I'm left-handed as well, and to compare how does it look with your other hand.
That's a good idea.
I never got to that because there are so many more interesting projects to do, like doing interviews. This is definitely more interesting. So
it's interesting. Maybe one day you can do the other.
It's on my plans. It's written. I've got I've got the plan on the paper.
Many plans. Also.
Too many plans.
A woman of many plans.
That's what makes our life more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we have the last question. What advice would you give to someone who wanted to break into the face and body painting career?
Okay, so my advice for someone who would come out, I would say, well, obviously I would suggest to push and become as creative as possible, because from my experience, that's what kept me, not on top, but it kept me stand out, because I was creating my own stuff. Because if you're just recreating or copying other stuff, at one point you won't have much to share anymore. And it's good if you're in the industry, if you're able to adapt yourself and be able to do many different things. So for me, I did body painting, I did face painting, I also did some I created a type of makeup I called fusion makeup. So I was teaching to makeup artists how to incorporate artistic makeup to it. So I called it fusion. So they were, as makeup artists, they were able to stand out from the other peers because they knew how to do more fashion or extreme makeup using water activated makeup. So I always adapted myself to different kind of situation, and I believed in myself, in my talent. So each time, like the beginning, or like the way I started my career, it's like, yeah, I can do it, no problem. Yes. And
So keep your mind open to new opportunities.
Yes, keep your mind open. Just say yes and just jump for it. And worst case scenario, you might fail, but you're going to learn something out of it. So that's how I've been doing my whole career, and it was good for me. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Jinny, for joining me today and for sharing your experience. It was really nice to chat to you, and I hope that we'll meet in real time, real life at some point, and have a cup of coffee or a herbal tea. And thank you so much. Yeah.
It was a pleasure for me. You're actually a really good interviewer, and it was my pleasure to spend time with you.
Good, thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.